We're talking opinions. We're talking trades, hypothetical trades. We're talking the future of the Phillies and the Philadelphia 76ers today. And your opinions actually matter on it. My insane poll question, which we are going to go over, it's not as insane as it seems to be. And that's what the basis of today's show is. What would it take for you to trade someone like a Tyrese Maxey or an Andrew Painter? We get started. Trending in the AM, 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM, right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You know the drill. Like, share, retweet, follow, turn the notifications on, subscribe, shout it from the rooftops, the number one morning show in the Philadelphia area, the first and best daily YouTube show there is talking Philly sports. Tell everybody this is the only place where your opinions actually matter. And we are talking lots of Sixers and Phillies, rumors, hypotheticals, lots on the agenda today. My poll question that I came up with randomly last night, either I'm insane or I'm on to something. And we got lots to get into. Good morning. Happy Father's Day. I see that I forgot at the end of Friday's show to wish everybody a happy Father's Day. I hope you all did well. Hope everybody enjoyed their Father's Day for all the fathers out there, even the dad dogs. They matter as well. Sorry we weren't here yesterday. Had to take my two Fosters in to get their surgeries, to get their neutering done, their teeth fixed and stuff like that, so we can actually put them up for adoption officially. So that's all out of the way. Why we're starting 15 minutes early today. Get a 15-minute extended episode in today. And we're talking Phillies. We're talking Sixers. And we're talking trades. Obviously, this weekend, the Bradley Beal trade to the Suns went down since our last show. And it got me thinking, and, always gets me thinking, we got the Tobias Harris rumors floating. We've got the, James Harden may return rumors floating. The Phillies, they've got Paul Goldschmidt rumors floating all over the place. And it gets me thinking about our top tier guys, the Tyrese Maxey and the Andrew Painter. And I put a poll question out there last night. Let me see if I can pull it up quickly and share it on the screen for everybody here. Present, share screen, Twitter. There it is, right there. And this is the poll question that I put up. Would you be willing to trade Tyrese Maxey or Andrew Painter or both for a damn good chance at an NBA title next year or a World Series title this year? Not a guarantee, but in my opinion, would you make a trade for either of those players if it gave you a 98% chance of winning a World Series or an NBA title? And of course, obviously, the answer so far, we got 213 votes in so far, and it's literally only been running for not even 15 hours yet. This poll, Tyrese Maxey, only 14%, Painter, 27.7%. Both, 22% of the people said they would trade both for that title. I want the title. And that's my vote. That's my answer. And then, of course, 35+% said I'm completely insane, and they wouldn't trade any of these guys. And I think it's an interesting question. I really do. And the interesting question isn't, look, I'm not trading Andrew Painter for, a nobody. I'm not trading Andrew Painter for Paul Goldschmidt. I'm not trading Tyrese Maxey for a Bradley Beal. We're talking elite type trades here. We're talking Andrew Painter for, Ohtani. We're talking Tyrese Maxey for a Kawhi Leonard or, someone up there, not north of 33 years old. I wouldn't trade Tyrese Maxey for Dame Lillard, but I would trade him. I was falling into a trap there. We always talk about the championship window, especially for Joel Embiid right now, and we got to maximize it. I've been falling into a trap where I see people saying it, and I kind of was believing it for a second. Yes, I'm a flip-flopper. I change my opinion sometimes. There's people out there that say we got to maximize Joel Embiid's window. And then there's other people that say, no, you cannot risk the future to maximize a 2-year Joel. If Joel Embiid's here or he's not here, it doesn't matter. And I don't understand. Like, I was falling in that trap to believe that a little bit. And then I realized, no, I do want to maximize Joel Embiid's window. I say the process wasn't about winning championships. I always say the process was about acquiring assets to acquire stars to then go on and win a championship. Well, you know what? And I still believe that, but the process needs to be paid off, does it not? And the way you pay off the process is by winning a damn NBA Finals. So if you're going to tell me I got a 98% chance of getting there, of course I'm going to trade Tyrese Maxey, even if it, means 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, we're screwed. I want that title. I'm willing to sell my soul to the devil to get that NBA championship here. I'm willing to sell my soul to get another World Series championship in Philadelphia. And I don't understand why people are so worried about 5 years from now. Andrew Painter might be this Cy Young candidate pitcher in 5 years. Tyrese Maxey might be an MVP caliber player in 5 years. But there's a key word there. Might be. And if you got a chance to add on to your actual MVP players now that can help them now, why wouldn't you trade them? And I think that's the crux. I mean, I look at it with the Phillies. Phillies now won 6 in a row, I believe, again. And the great thing right now, yeah, they won 6 in a row, but they've got 2 6-game winning streaks saddled around a 1-2 stretch. And that's what I keep talking about, always stacking win streaks. You know what I mean? Win 4, 5, 6 and lose a game or two. Then win 4, 5, 6 and lose a game or two. Paul Goldschmidt is the reigning MVP. He would rank in the top 4 or 5 in every offensive statistical category here if he was on the Phillies. Now, he's not going to win multiple MVPs. He's a great player that had an even better season than normal for him. But he's still one of the best hitting first basemen in baseball. He's a really solid glove. He's a guy that provides leadership, veteran ability on this team. You could stop with all these different things. You don't need Bryce Harper playing first base. You don't. Like, you save him until he's ready to play the outfield. Otherwise, you just roll with what you got in Schwarber and Castellanos out there for now. Bohm gets to settle back into third base. You don't have to worry about Clemens platooning and this and that. And when does the Clemens, balloon pop? Because I don't know if he's as good as his numbers say he is right now. You go out and get Paul Goldschmidt. Just think about what that lineup was. And again, I'm not saying trade Andrew Painter for Paul Goldschmidt, but there are people out there, and all weekend long I battled with people on social media that wouldn't be willing to trade Mick Abel or Griff McGreary, one of their top second and third top pitching prospect, for Paul Goldschmidt. And it's not like it's a rental. He's on the books for next year too. And only at like $22 million. What is up, man, chatter? Again, sorry to everybody for missing yesterday's show. I don't know what you guys did without me on the air in the morning. Like, you guys must have been lost without me yesterday. Just like a little precursor. I got teased. I give you a little day off here or there so that when I take a week off for vacation, you guys don't, totally lose it. But so the point is, like, why people wouldn't be willing to trade. Well, Tobias Harris does got to go. But I did bring this up yesterday. And this is interesting. I would love to get people's opinion on this. Is Tobias Harris's contract more valuable now in the offseason, where you trade him to a team for whatever package? A bunch of rotational players, a bad contract, or someone that can make an effective, difference on this team, whatever. Is it more valuable now? Or is that expiring contract for Tobias Harris more valuable at the trade deadline when a team is desperate to get somebody that could score off, to add to their rotation to get them to the playoffs? Is Tobias Harris more valuable when a team loses a star and needs somebody that could get buckets? Like, I'm really, really, like, I'm all on board with trading Tobias. Everybody knows I'm a Tobias Harris fan. I'm all on board with trading Tobias Harris, though. I get it. I understand it. I know why it has to happen. But I don't want to just trade him. I want something of value in return. And in value, I mean, even if it's just a really great bench player or a solid 3-and-D guy that could start and fill in a role on this team. Like, I want something decent. That Reggie Bullock trade is the one that keeps, formulating in my mind with Dallas. But I'm not just trading him away. just to trade him away. And I keep thinking to myself that he might be more valuable to the Sixers to stay, to help with the transition of Nick Nurse, because he's obviously a veteran guy that people listen to. And then at the deadline, maybe someone will dump you multiple role players, maybe get a draft pick out of Tobias Harris, a protected one, but a draft pick at the deadline if a team is desperate. Yeah, see now Fred VanVleet, it's something that we've talked about a lot. He declined his option. Everyone assumed it was to come to Philly, but he's going to command $30 million a year. So you would have to work out a sign and trade with Toronto. I don't know if Toronto would want Tobias Harris, but is trading Tobias Harris for Fred VanVleet and giving Fred VanVleet 4 years and $125-30 million really that smart of a long-term? People aren't willing to trade Tyrese Maxey because they're worried about the future, but they're willing to commit to Fred VanVleet. And this is the whole thing today. It's like, people are thinking too much about the future, but not enough about the future. And like, I was chit-chatting with my man Jason Sullivan, who I host my golf show Fairway to Heaven with last night. And check it out, Travelers Championship breakdown, recap of the U.S. Open. It was a great show. It's right on the Philadelphia Sports Network YouTube page. You can check it out. But after the show, we were chit-chatting, BSing behind the scenes, and we were talking about this exact topic. And he's not a Philly guy, but he's a Detroit guy. And, he had Dave Dombrowski as the GM of his Detroit Tigers for a while. And where Dave Dombrowski trades prospects, doesn't worry about 5 years down the future. Gets a guy now, and doesn't mind trading prospects. And he brought up the Rams. I mean, the Rams went all in, traded all this to get Jared Goff. It didn't work out. They got to a Super Bowl, and then they reboot it and trade everything again to go get Matthew Stafford. Now everyone says they're screwed in the next 5 years. But they got a Super Bowl. They got two Super Bowl appearances, 1 win, 1 loss. I mean, if you're not willing to trade assets to get that Super Bowl, then what's the point? Like, you can develop all you want, but developing does not guarantee you championships. I'm willing to trade people to get me that title. We as sports fans want championships, don't we? I'm not giving up Harris for a small, older point guard, 38-year-old CP3. Yeah, and I think this is crazy. First off, this Bradley Beal recap mega weekend trades later. No. We're getting into the Bradley Beal right now. Tobias Harris could get us better. This Bradley Beal trade, it's got my mind all warped. Like, I almost feel like the NBA. Remember when the last time CP3 they tried to trade him to the Lakers years ago? The league stepped in and said, "Nah, you can't do that." Like, I almost feel like the league's going to step in on this Bradley Beal deal and Chris Paul deal and say, "Nah, you can't do that." Because you basically traded him for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, who's a former Sixer. And I believe at some point this offseason, I did some kind of a mock trade on this show, and Landry Shamet was a salary filler to come here. And a couple second-round picks. And Washington's instantly either going to find a third team to send Chris Paul to, or they're going to buy him out and he's going to be a free agent. Like, literally, they basically just gave Bradley Beal away for Landry Shamet, some second-round picks. It's insane. Like Bradley Beal, I didn't want him on the Sixers. I wasn't willing to part with, all the assets that I thought it was going to take to get Bradley Beal here. But shit, if that's all it was going to take, I mean, Chris Paul, you would have had to trade Tobias Harris and Furkan Korkmaz, basically, to get you Bradley Beal. And that actually trumps what the Phoenix Suns gave up, in my opinion, probably value-wise. Like, it's literally insane how weak of a deal. And I think that's going to go to show that because of the new CBA and all the new cap rules that they have, there's going to be some crazy deals. People are going to go for less value, and other people are going to go for more value because of contracts. And honestly, I think Phoenix got robbed in this deal anyway, because Bradley Beal with Devin Booker in the backcourt, who's your point guard? Who's running the point? And if you go get a point guard, then one of those other guys going to come off the bench? No. I think they're very redundant. I don't think it's going to work. You got Kevin Durant, you got Devin Booker, and you got Bradley Beal. They're going to have no problem scoring. I don't know who's playing defense. I don't know who's your floor general. I don't even see why this makes sense for Phoenix. Like, they gave up nothing, but yet they brought on a guy that's going to confuse everything, clog it up a little bit. Like, I don't get it. Like, I think it's a bad trade all around. But it still got my mind in a war. Like, it really does. Like, it really does have me messed up that Chris Paul, a Hall of Famer, Bradley Beal, a guy that some people thought they'd rather over James Harden, some didn't, whatever. It was a debatable topic. Like, but he's on that all-star level. He just got traded for nothing. He does have an albatross of a contract. I get that. I understand that. But it's so crazy. That's what I was talking to you about last time. We try mock over trade, and other teams can get 30-year starters for a pack of now-laters. I mean, basically, yeah. Like, I mean, the league from time to time, the league steps in and says, nah, on trades and deals and contracts and things like that. You know, try to keep the competitive balance, I guess, if you want to say it. I don't know how they don't step in here and say something here. Like, it's really, really insane in my opinion. But then it's got me thinking about the Sixers. And, like, if Chris Paul and Landry Shamet net you Bradley Beal, what could Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey net you? Like, you would have to think long and hard that Tyrese Maxey paired with Tobias Harris contract paired with Tyrese Maxey's upside could net you a superstar. Somebody messaged me, would I do that deal for Jaylen Brown? I don't know, but maybe. Would I do that deal for Kawhi Leonard? Yeah, I've already done the Kawhi Leonard thing on this show before. Absolutely, I would. Like, I am always willing to trade assets, young players, prospects, because you just don't know. Tyrese Maxey's 22. We have high hopes for him. A lot of people around the NBA do. Doesn't mean he's going to live up to them. I want that NBA title. And I'm telling you, this offseason, the Bradley Beal trade is just the first step in, I think, a massive amount of moves we're going to see. We're going to see so many star players move teams. Obviously, there's the Zion Williamson rumors floating around. He's being floated for like 5 different teams. You know, I don't really want him here in Philly, but if he comes to Philly, it'd be exciting, obviously. I don't think him and Joel Embiid pair well next to each other. But, you know, whatever. I mean, he's a star. The stricter the salary cap, the closer the teams will be, better the competition. Yeah, I guess so. Jordan, I don't think Jordan's got any money issues anymore. He turned his $200 million into $3 billion in the matter of a few years. While we would trade Harris and Maxey for Ish. Yeah, that's not a trade I'm doing. I mean, Ish Smith is an NBA champion. Maxey and Harris are not NBA champions. Would I trade the Phil morning drive for another show? I mean, if you're being offered Tyrese Maxey, nah, still not worth it. And is that what I am? The morning drive? I'm more of the YouTube, you know, interactive show. I mean, if you're driving and listen to this show, you can't type your comments in and get interactive with the show where your opinions matter. But it just gets me thinking. Like, this Bradley Beal trade, what does Tyrese Maxey get you? Like, and the question is, like, and again, I'm going to keep Andrew Painter in this conversation with the Phillies. We got a huge series against the Braves. You know, big litmus test for the Phillies starting today. You know, first time the Braves are back in Philly since the playoffs last year. And it's got me thinking. Like, I won a World Series and I won an NBA title. I've got my Super Bowl trophy from a couple of years ago. I won another one. And one's not enough. Like, who are you willing to trade and for what to get that opportunity? And if you're saying that you won't trade Andrew Painter for Ohtani, or you won't trade Mick Abel for Paul Goldschmidt, or you won't trade Tyrese Maxey to get you a Dame Lillard, not Dame Lillard. I don't know about Dame Lillard, but a Kawhi Leonard. Like, do you not want a championship? You don't know what the future holds. I do know this year that if James Harden comes back, you got Joel Embiid still in his prime, you throw another superstar in there, it's going to be a better chance than not. And that brings up the James Harden thing. The rumors are that there's a good chance that, you know, he re-signs now here in Philly. I really, truly believe it's exactly what I said it was. The Houston rumors were just that, rumors that his camp was leaking, because Daryl Morey has been very firm on what his max deal is that he can offer to James Harden. Probably in the neighborhood of 3 years, $100 million, 2 years, 90 with a third-year team option, something like that. Like, that's the best that he's going to get from the Sixers. So he leaks these Houston rumors. You know, I thought Phoenix might be a place to trade for him, or to trade him to in a sign and trade deal. Obviously, they got Bradley Beal instead. I will sell my soul. Like, and the Mad Chatter, you're a Buffalo Bills fan, obviously. Okay. And I don't know who would be the equivalent because you can't trade Josh Allen. But, Stefan Diggs, I mean, I don't know if he's even the guy. I think it's harder to do what I'm talking about in football than basketball or baseball. And you don't have a baseball or basketball team up there in Buffalo, so I don't know. But, like, would you sell off, Stefan Diggs? Maybe it's hard for me to even comprehend it in the Buffalo Bills scenario, honestly. I'm being sarcastic, but that's how some of our trade ideas sound. I also wouldn't package Maxey with Harris. You get more splitting the two of them. Okay, that's fine. The problem is you got to trade contract for contract in the NBA, and Maxey's still on his rookie deal. So you're not getting another star already established for Maxey at that point because most of the established stars are already under their next deal. Harris equals cap flexibility. Maxey you compare with someone else in another deal that gets you two different stars that way instead of giving up two. But see, I'm not trading Maxey just for two starters. Like Tyrese Maxey needs to net me a superstar. Like I'm not moving him for Joe Schmo. I'm not moving him for the Mad Chatter. I'm moving him for Eric R. You know what I mean? I'm moving him for a star, a stud. And that's the difference there. And to do that, like someone brought up Jaylen Brown. You couldn't trade Maxey for Jaylen Brown. And I mean, I don't know if I'd want to send Maxey to Boston, but if Jaylen Brown had a little bit more killer instinct in him, yeah, I would do it. Like, I need to find the best people to fit next to Joel Embiid to win a title this year. The Bucks, there's turmoil. Like, there's question marks with that Bucks team. Where they're going in the next year or two with Giannis. Boston, obviously, Jaylen Brown might be on the trade table because they have maybe an issue with Brown and Tatum being coexisting there. Like, there's some interesting things there. But your time is there. You just saw the Miami Heat make the NBA Finals. Miami Heat were in on Bradley Beal. It didn't work out. Can we get Tobias Harris to Miami? Let him play with Jimmy Butler and get something back. I don't know. Even if you are a 6th-round pick who wants supermodel life, don't sell. Look, I'm willing to sell my soul for championships. I did it with the 2017 Eagles. And the Carson Wentz debacle blew up in our face. That's fine. I'm willing to accept all the heat I have to for all that good I said about Carson Wentz. Like, I accept all that because we got the Super Bowl. Same thing in 08, the World Series. I cried when the Phillies won the World Series in 08. Literally, tears in my face because it meant so much. And I'm willing to do it again. I love Maxey. You give me Brown for him, I'm buying the Uber. So you're on board with Tyrese Maxey for Jaylen Brown. And again, so say you keep James Harden here, Eric. You keep James Harden. You make that trade. So you got a Harden, you've got Embiid, and you got Jaylen Brown. And it comes down to crunch time. Less than 2 minutes left, and you need a big bucket. We've said it. We need that killer that could step up and be the number one. I don't know. In that last series, Boston against Miami, I mean, Jaylen Brown had some moments, and he failed. Tatum was hurt. Game 7. Jaylen Brown came up really small in that moment. Does Jaylen Brown have more clutchness in him than Tyrese Maxey does? And that's the thing. Tyrese Maxey might be that guy that could step up and be that killer if he's coached up the right way. I don't know if Jaylen Brown can. But again, I'd be hard-pressed to say no because we lack those longer guys like Jaylen Brown that can run, shoot, play defense, dunk, do everything. We lack those kind of guys. So, point being, I'm trading anybody for anybody as long as it's going. Again, when I make this question, when I posed this poll question, I did put in there that a big part of it is that you're getting a really damn good chance of winning a title. Not like a 50-50, like 98% chance that you're at least getting to the championship, let alone winning a championship. Like, making a trade for Tyrese Maxey is putting you where the Heat were this year, on that cusp. And once you get to the finals or the World Series, who knows what happens? And that's all I really am thinking about right now. I'm thinking about that Phillies World Series run last year, okay? I'm thinking of how close we came, and then we really were no match for Houston, obviously, in the World Series. And I look at how bad the Phillies started this year, and they've turned it around again. But yet they've turned it around despite bigger flaws on this team than last year. The Phillies have two huge flaws, maybe three. Aaron Nola's not living up to the ace/number 2 spot in the rotation. He's your weakest pitching member of the pitching staff right now. You have no fifth starter still. So your starting routine, you either need a fifth starter like yesterday, or you need to consider making a big, bold trade for somebody, a top-end starter. And then you push Aaron Nola down, take some of that pressure off of him. Exactly, Freddie. And this is what I'm thinking. Like everyone says we need a fifth starter. Well, maybe Aaron Nola's our fifth starter at this point. I was going through what the last 3, 4, 5 outings of all our starters were. Aaron Nola's been bad. He's getting up 4 or 5 or more runs in 4 of his last 5 starts. He's just not there. And he's had off years. So do you go out and get a fifth starter, or do you go out and or do you go offer Mick Abel or Griff McGreary and go get a top flight starter right now? Just go get him. And anybody that says they won't trade Andrew Painter, just think about Sixto Sanchez. Sixto Sanchez can't pitch a damn because he's got arm problems. Andrew Painter is 20. He's already got arm issues. If somebody called me right now and said, I'd give you Ohtani, give me Painter, and done. If somebody called and said, I don't even know who the top 2 or 3 pitchers in baseball are right now, I'm going to give you this star ace pitcher right now. He's under team control for the next 3 years. I want Painter. Sure. Do the deal. Because we have made, as Phillies fans, we've watched this team trade away so many prospects, so many of them, over the last 20 years, 15 years. And none of them have lived up to the hype. Because prospects are just that. They're prospects. I'm okay trading prospects. As long as it's netting me something. Now, Andrew Painter's something special, supposedly. But he's already got arm issues. Now, again, I'm not trading Andrew Painter for 36-year-old Paul Goldschmidt. But Abel, if Abel is not ready to step in and start now, which we have not had a fifth starter in how long on this team? If he's not ready now to give it a go, then what are they waiting for? What are they holding him back for? If you're not going to put him in the rotation today, then you might as well trade him for somebody that can be in the rotation. I think Brown will show up. It's hard when it's 2 wings on the same team than Embiid. And I think that's a fair thing. I think Jaylen Brown in a different situation might be a different player. But he didn't have 2 wings in Game 7 because Tatum was limping around out there. And Tatum, he is humbly the best player in the NBA. So it's hard to play next to the best of the best like that. I hope you're not too bummed after Stars' primetime loss. Oh, did they lose? Yeah, I knew they lost, actually. I do keep up on the scores, just for you. I don't watch it, but I do keep up on the scores. Again, it's just what ifs here. But these what ifs, to me, open up a can of worms of where your standards are, on what you want. If you're worried about trading Andrew Painter because in 5 or 6 years he might be a Cy Young candidate, I think you're not on par with what the goal is, and that's winning championships. If you're not willing to trade Tyrese Maxey, again, it's okay to set standards. I'll only trade Tyrese Maxey if I get X level player. But if you're not willing to trade him at all, no, what has Tyrese Maxey done to say he's untouchable? Other than be 22 years old. Other than improve his jump shot, when you get just over 40% from 3. That's it. We didn't win a title this year with him. If he was so great, maybe he would step up and everyone blames Harden and Embiid for falling flat in Game 6 and 7. Well, Tyrese Maxey didn't do anything special either. If you're not willing to part with somebody, you have to part with something to acquire something. I'm not willing to just waste the next 3 or 4 years and hoping when he's 26, 27, Tyrese Maxey's a star. You get the deal done. You get the job done now. If the Sixers were any other team, I have no doubt that Harden would land you Brown. So you're trading James Harden for Jaylen Brown. Huh. Interesting. I don't know if Boston would do that. I think they would only do it for Maxey. When guests go to your restaurant, do you have a TV for the games? It's takeout mostly. I have 3 tables. I do have a TV. It is more for my own personal viewing pleasure. I had the U.S. Open on all weekend. People came in to dine in. I'm like, yeah, sorry, U.S. Open's on. Can't change it. So, yeah, there's that. And I don't pay for TV. I just use whatever I can find free on the internet, plug it in with the HDMI for my laptop. Anyway, this whole situation here, like where you fall in it, it just tells me a little bit about you. Like, and when I go back to this poll question and I see the results that are, that are so far there, 213 votes, and 35.7% said I'm crazy that they would trade neither Maxey or Painter no matter what, for doesn't matter how great of a thing. When almost 36% tell me that. That's over 65 of the 213 votes. And 22% say they would trade both if they want, because they want that title. It just tells me that where people's, goals are with these teams is a little off, in my opinion. Cam, thanks for checking in, man. My weekend, it was really good. Busy at the pizza shop, the U.S. Open. My dogs and my Fosters got their surgeries done. We're good. Things are moving in the right direction. Now the Phillies are on another 6-game winning streak, but they've got a huge litmus test against the Braves. And if we go 1-2 or 0-3 in these next couple games, will that change your opinion? So you guys, I'm talking about trading Maxey, or I'm talking about trading Painter. Like, is any of the lack of wanting to trade these guys, does any of it fall into the category that we don't trust Joel Embiid? That Joel Embiid couldn't win us a title if you paired another star next to him? Is any of the Phillies not wanting to trade Andrew Painter because we have zero faith in this team anyway? Like, everybody hypes them up. Yeah, we're going to go. Yeah, we're going to win another World Series. The season's not over. It's early, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're not going to win a World Series with the current crop as is. You're going to have to add to it. You need another starting pitcher. You might need another bench piece. I don't know. Like, there's some serious holes on the team. So you're going to have to trade to get. And, you get a better player for Andrew Painter than you would the 15th prospect in our organization. Just saying. Like, is any of the not wanting to trade Maxey, that I'm insane for even suggesting it, is any of that because in 4 or 5 years, Embiid's going to be gone, Harden's going to be gone, and it's going to be the Tyrese Maxey show, and if you don't have him, like, whatever. Like, is any of it that people just have so zero faith that this Sixers team could win a title, and that's why they're already – it's almost like Sixers fans have already started looking to the future. They've already written off the next 2 or 3 years. And I don't think you need to do that. And I think you could still maximize this Joel Embiid window. I still think you can get this to a point where we're playing in June, not Miami or Boston. Can we entertain that deal for 30s Embiid, Brown, and Maxey? I mean, it'd be an interesting trio right there. I mean, you have to go out and get a point guard. I mean, I still think there's a point where Embiid is still effective. Like, everyone says he's got this 2-year championship window and whatnot. I still think he could be a very effective player in the NBA more than 2 years. Maybe more injuries will pile up over the years and maybe not. But Joel Embiid, as long as you maintain him properly, is still going to be 7'2", 285 pounds. He's still going to be one of the most dominant forces in the NBA. There's no reason why 4 years from now, Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, or Joel Embiid and Jaylen Brown, or whoever, aren't still winning in the NBA. Like, I really don't know why people just assume that the next 2 years, that's it. If we don't win in the next 2 years, it's done. It's over. Let's just pretend we saw the Suns deal happen and act like Harden for Brown is realistic. Well, so first and foremost, though, you'd have to understand that Harden went to be a sign and trade. And does Boston really want 3 or 4 years of James Harden? I don't know. And James Harden still does. Like, I agree and I understand that James Harden isn't going to get a 4-year max deal, but James Harden still wants a 4-year max deal. And he's going to say, Boston, you want that? Then you got to give me the max deal, or I'm not going to sign off on this sign and trade. Like, I don't know. I don't know how it works out. I don't. But again, so it doesn't work out. And you keep Harden here on the Sixers, and you go trade Maxey for Brown. Why not? Like, why wouldn't you even remotely consider it? I'm pulling up the NBA trade machine just to see what Jaylen Brown's contract situation is like at this point. Boston, Jaylen Brown's got 2 years left, $28 million. 1 year left, $28 million. My bad. So it'd be an expiring contract to an extent. Man, the Jaylen Brown, I can't even trade him, but I'm just looking at Tyrese Maxey, and you could get off of you could send him PJ Tucker too in that deal. And I don't know. It's tough. It really is tough to try to work this. Yeah, Embiid's career can be extended. And that's the thing. Like, everyone's like, oh, we got to either who cares about the championship window, or we got to maximize the championship window. Well, his championship window doesn't have to end in the next 2 years. It really doesn't. And that's why I want to continue going all in. And look, I'm not trading Tyrese Maxey for anything. I'm not. Jaylen Brown would probably be the lowest level that I would trade Tyrese Maxey for. Like, I'm not trading Tyrese Maxey for Zion Williamson because you just don't know when Zion's going to play. And when he does play, will he mesh well with Joel Embiid? I mean, just think about what Bradley Beal went for. What's the Zion Williamson trade really going to be like? I can see a bad team making a big, bold move for him just to sell tickets. But does a championship team pay a lot to bring Zion? And I think he's only in the first year of his big contract. Like it's insane. Like, that Zion Williamson's already on the trade block when he came into the league. First and foremost, I said Zion was not going to be all that he could be. I said John Morant was going to be the bigger star out of the top two there. And unfortunately, John Morant has his issues as well. Would you trade Tyrese Maxey for John Morant? Is John Morant better than Tyrese Maxey already? I mean, he's got a lot of headaches. He's got a lot of issues off the court. He's going to be suspended for the first 25 games this year. I don't know. But I always said John Morant was going to be better than Zion. That Zion just wasn't going to be able to physically handle the rigor of an NBA season or an NBA career. But who thought he would be on the trade block already before that, rookie max deal kicks in? Like, it's kind of crazy. It really is. Jaylen Brown's going to get extended this offseason, 4 years, $295. It would be a sign and trade. You still for Maxey? I'm probably trading. Probably. It's not a guarantee, but I'm probably trading Tyrese Maxey for Jaylen Brown. But, I'd rather more. I'd rather better. But I take it. But I would probably take it. Duncan and Rasheed Wallace both played solid down the stretch on one leg. Yeah, absolutely. And, so everybody's saying that Joel Embiid's done in 2 years. Come on. Like, there's a chance, unless he gets a debilitating injury, unless he becomes Yao Ming, which has like a degenerate foot or whatever his problem was. Like, unless something like that happens, Joel Embiid is this max deal he's on isn't his last big contract. Like, he'll play this deal and probably get another max deal down the line. And the Sixers will probably do it. But you got to understand, in my mind, I firmly believe there is no such thing as an untouchable player in any sport. Everybody is tradable if the return is right. And that's all there is to it. Jalen making all NBA last year made him eligible for the veteran Supermax, so he's suddenly a very expensive player. And that's fair. Is his contract, like we always say, players get max contracts that don't deserve them or get contracts that are too big. We're stuck in this Tobias Harris position because of players getting contracts that they don't deserve because everybody spends. And now the CBA's changing the NBA, and now a lot of teams are stuck. Is he worth Jaylen Brown, the super max? Is he worth $55 million a year? Is he big enough? Is he good and big enough as in a star, not size-wise? I was never high on Zion. I looked at him and Morant and like Rose and Beasley. Yeah, like I looked at Zion and I remember watching the video of Zion going to dunk and when he went and the pressure he jumped with, he actually buckled the floor. I'm like, dude, that is insane. I'm like, but if a floor buckled, those knees aren't going to enjoy all that. If the floor buckled under the pressure that he put on it to jump, those ankles are going to go. Those ankles and knees were not going to live up to the long-term hype that, he had to live up to. And when he's healthy, he's a damn good player. He shoots a little bit. He gets down low, he grabs rebounds, he's a big immovable force and object. But man, if Al Horford and Joel Embiid didn't work, I don't know how Zion Williamson and Joel Embiid work. I don't want no scrubs. I'm trying to remember the rest of the words of the song. Yeah, I want guys that can get rings. Again, everybody is tradable. Everybody. Hell, if somebody came and said, this is what I'm offering you for Joel Embiid, if it's a valid trade that has current and future, opportunities involved, I'll do it. There's no such thing as untradeable. If someone came and offered something value for Jalen Hurts, I mean, it'd be hard to comprehend anybody giving anything of value for Jalen Hurts. I mean, there's not much that you could trade for Jalen Hurts at this point that I'd say it's valuable. But I'm just saying, like, if Patrick Mahomes was available in a trade with other things for Jalen Hurts, of course I'm going to say yes. Like, everybody is available. Like, what did the $1 Million Man say? Everybody's got a price. Yeah, like, that's me. Like, I'm okay with it. Now, again, I'm not moving Tyrese Maxey for a bucket of balls. I'm not moving Tyrese Maxey in a Bradley Beal type deal. Like, if Washington called Philly and be like, yo, we got this deal for Chris Paul and Landry Shamet for Bradley Beal. Can you beat it? And the Sixers are like, sure, I'll give you Tyrese Maxey. I would have been pissed off. No doubt about it. But if you're telling me I'm going to get a superstar in the prime of their career or at the beginning of the prime of their career, of course I'm going to do it. Of course I am. Why wouldn't I? I just think that there's too much no when it comes to moving these guys. Andrew Painter, again, back to the Phillies. Like, I just keep thinking about how everybody was up in arms about trading Sixto Sanchez and the catcher Jorge Alfaro for JT Realmuto. And I was like, no way, you can't trade this great young catching prospect. Look at how big he is. He's just gonna hit and mash. I think the guy's playing not even in like the minors. Like, he's not even in baseball already. Sixto Sanchez, I mean, the guy's had arm issues how many times already? And he was untouchable. And you traded him for a rental player in JT Realmuto that you didn't have a guarantee was going to stay after the season. I mean, Bryce Harper convinced them to bring him back, which was great. But seriously, like, it's okay to move Andrew Painter. Andrew Painter already has an UCL sprain. And eventually he might be rehabbing and he might help this year or next year. But that UCL sprain is going to pop up again. And Andrew Painter is going to have Tommy John surgery at some point. Why not move him for a superstar pitcher right now on a team? There's got to be a non-playoff contending team that's got a superstar pitcher out there that would love a young Andrew Painter to restart their future with. You got to think of it. Think so. My cousin raved about Zion. I see a 300-pound tweener who lives around the rim. Yeah, I mean, those knees, those ankles, the back, the human body is almost only supposed to do so much. And some athletes just push their body so far. It just won't live up long term. It just can't physically handle it. I've been using the $1 Million Man line. I mean, I love it. It wasn't my best effort on the laugh. Dude, it was an awful impression. I'm sorry. Sorry, not my best impression, but but it is what it is. Everybody's got a price, and just like the Sixers have a price on keeping James Harden, I'm sure Daryl Morey has a price in his mind. If someone calls and wants Tyrese Maxey, this is the price. Dave Dombrowski, I mean, the Phillies president GM, I mean, he's been known. He'll trade prospects. He's not afraid of it. I mean, I was talking with Jason off the air last night, and he brought up, he's like, everybody was up in arms when they traded their two best prospects to bring Miguel Cabrera to Detroit. And it's not working out now late in his career, but it worked out great early in the career. They got to the World Series. And those two top prospects, one turned out to be decent. The other, well, it turned out to be a bust. And everybody was up in arms about it. It's okay to move young guys. Man, I'm getting an A+ on my laugh. I love it. I'm super happy. I wasn't sure where to put the mic for it. It's like, yeah, no. Anyway, that'll be my last impression of the day. Maybe not. You never know. We got still about 20, 30 minutes left in this show. Maybe I'll sneak another impression. I mean, it was very mid. It was my impression, in my opinion. But anyway, Andrew Painter, like, you've already got a UCL sprain. you're borderline going to get a UCL tear, which means Tommy John surgery, which means 2 more years and no more Andrew Painter. Now you're looking at 23, 24-year-old Andrew Painter, not 20-year-old Andrew Painter. Yeah, Freddie, it wasn't the best. I mean, you're a wrestling guy, Freddie. It was very mid. It was. Eric, Mad Chatter, they're stroking my ego a little bit with their compliments right there. You give it to me the way it really is, which is it was very mid. But you look at this, if Ohtani, I mean, I know the new rumors are, Ohtani is not available at the deadline because the Angels are still in the thick of it. But I'm telling you, if you call the Angels right now and I say, I know you're still in the thick of it, but you're probably losing Ohtani in the offseason, we'll give you Andrew Painter right now, straight up for him. No guarantees needed. No guarantees needed. Just give them to us for the stretch run of this season. I'm doing the deal. And then I'm hoping Bryce Harper, Nick Castellano, Zach Wheeler, etc., JT Realmuto convince Ohtani to stay in the offseason. And if he doesn't, if we win a World Series and he walks, all right, we just won another damn World Series. I don't care about Andrew Painter anymore. That's what matters to me. Slightly above mid? Okay. All right. I'll get that. B minus. We'll give myself a B minus on it. But yeah, I just don't understand why people are so scared to move on from prospects. Again, we can run down the list of just Phillies prospects that we traded. Jesse Biddle, Kyle Drabeck, Carlos Carrasco was the one good one. Lou Marson. Anybody remember Lou Marson? I do. There's so many of them that we traded away. And then the ones we didn't trade away, Don Brown, Darren Ruff, Tommy Joseph. There was a prospect we wouldn't trade that could have netted us something. Tommy Joseph was a bum. He had concussion issues too, but, a bum. Michael Taylor. Who? I remember him. Does anybody else? I just don't get why people are so afraid to trade these prospects. I mean, that's what they are. They're prospects. Prospects have no guarantees. Don't you want the guaranteed real deal thing? Especially if it gives you a better chance at a title this year. And not just a better chance, a real legit chance. I'll say it again. I'm going to say it right now. I'll give you Andrew Painter straight up for Ohtani with no guarantees attached that he stays in the offseason. But guess what? We're going to be the favorite to win the World Series, or at least make it back to the World Series. And then who knows once we get there. Damn straight. And then I'm going to trust Bryce Harper winning over Ohtani to stay here long term. He already has convinced how many other people to stay here long term. I think that's it. Let's reset for a second. We've only got 7 likes on this video on YouTube. You're watching Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Come on, likes. I'm doing an 85-minute show here today, or 85-minute show today. Need those likes on the YouTube video, help the algorithm out. I'd greatly appreciate it. This is the only show in Philadelphia where your opinions actually matter. There it is, right there. Your opinions actually matter here. So make sure you hit that like button. Likes equal better shows, more shows, longer shows, better content overall. Today's amount of likes on this show is very mid, just so you know, guys. But anyway, so we're talking trades, and we're talking this hypothetical that I put out on Twitter as a poll last night. Would you trade Tyrese Maxey and or Andrew Painter if it guaranteed you a near chance at winning a title? 98% chance. Not 100, but 98% chance that you're winning an NBA title or a World Series. Would you trade those two guys for that? And I think it's a 110%. Absolutely. Bring me the title. Sell my soul to the devil. That's what I do. That's what I'm willing to do. And I really, speaking French again, oui, poo-poo, that's my French. That's all I got. I spent a few days in France, and that's all. I know oui, give me a croissant. That's my French accent. I gave me a hard-earned thumbs up. Yes, that's right. I appreciate that. I work hard for those thumbs up, those likes on these videos, man. Very, very hard. Anyway, so I would love somebody in the comments or watching the show, even if it's on replay, because again, I check all replay comments. Hence why I know, and this is my perfect opportunity to throw Honey Bunnies under the bus again for calling me out for the a-hole. The reason why the fan base thinks, or the world thinks we're a-holes from Honey Bunnies. I go back and I check replays, and the only way you would know that is because this was a replay comment. I need to hear from somebody why they're 100% against trading either. I need to hear from somebody that said that I'm insane for being even considering trading either. Like, I don't know. Like, I see the negative of maybe 5 years from now, you could use an Andrew Painter or a Tyrese Maxey, but who knows what they're going to be in 5 years. Like, I really, truly think there's a scenario where Tyrese Maxey doesn't get any better. Like, I'm not saying he's hit his ceiling per se, but what is his ceiling? As Sixers fans, are we blinded by what we've seen from him? I mean, he's a 6'1", 6'2" shooting guard, undersized. He's fast. You know, he's quick, and he shoots the three. He was never supposed to be this good of a three-point shooter. Does he level out ever? If he gets one bad injury to his knees and he loses that burst, I always use that Derrick Rose comparison with him. Like, I do, because they're different players, but the Derrick Rose speed and burst, like, that's what Tyrese Maxey has. But then Maxey ended up, or Rose ends up with the knee injuries, and he's slower. He's not an MVP caliber player. Like, what if Maxey's not that great? Like, he's really good, but what if he's not really great? So you're going to risk a title this year because maybe in 5 years, when Tyrese Maxey's 27, he's one of the top 5 players in the NBA. When realistically speaking, he's just a top 25 player in the NBA 5 years from now. Does that make sense? So I need to hear from somebody that's not willing to do it. All right, so the devil can't have your soul. Can I have your soul, Eric? Like, will you give me your soul for that Sixers title? Like I'm worried that this Sixers offseason, it's going to be run it back, bring back James Harden, trade Tobias Harris for some role players. We're just going to be going through the same conversation all next year again. James Harden doesn't have it. We don't have that killer to step up in crunch time. Joel Embiid, this or that. Like, I need some kind of drastic change. Bringing in a new star is that drastic change. Again, I don't know who that star is. Would you trade Tyrese Maxey for Jamal Murray? Like, they're not going to trade Jamal Murray, obviously. They just won an NBA title with Murray and Jokic. But, like, is that somebody that's won an NBA title? Like, would you trade Tyrese Maxey for Tyler Hero? Probably not. But, Tyler Hero could get buckets. He's young. He's impressionable still. Like, I'm looking for somebody. Like, I'm not trade. Would you trade Tyrese Maxey for Zach LaVine? Like, I probably would say no to Zach LaVine. Like, I don't think Zach LaVine is as elite as some people do. Like, I know he's one of those guys that he's in the top 25, 30 NBA players in the league right now. He's not in the top 5 or 10. Would you do it for Zach LaVine? Again, who's your point guard? Is a Harden LaVine backcourt better than a Harden Maxey backcourt? I don't know. Does LaVine over Maxey? I don't think LaVine brings enough difference to the table to validate it. But all right. I'm just giving a joke. All right. Nobody's selling souls. I mean, I've already sold mine like 47 times. So if I sold it again, like, you're just getting like 1% of it. All right. Anyway, back on track. I just don't know where that level lies, what that line is. But I also don't know or understand why people are so against it. Like, there have been so many can't-miss prospects in the Phillies organization. There have been so many can't-miss players for the Sixers that just nothing. So why not? I mean, we missed out. Okafor did not turn into who we thought he was going to be. Noel didn't turn into who we thought he was going to be. We moved on from those guys. One too late, one too early, maybe. But still, prospects are just that. They just are. Again, backtrack to an episode a couple weeks ago where we went over Joel Embiid trade scenarios. Most of them weren't logical for the long-term future of this team. But if you find a logical trade situation where Joel Embiid goes, we get back a star player, we get lots of draft capital, we do whatever, I'm doing it. Shooting guard. Are you talking about Shea? Are you talking about SGA? I think it's easier to say SGA. I would 1,000% trade Tyrese Maxey for SGA. 1,000%. Now, I don't think they would trade him because they love him there. But done. sign the deal. I'll drive the Uber. I'll get him there. Whatever it is, I'll get that done in a heartbeat. Let me bring up the NBA trade machine again. I want to see what his contract's looking like right now. OKC, there's Oklahoma City. He's got 4 years at $30 million left. So you're gonna have to probably include more there. Let's just see. Shea for Tobias and Maxey. Oops, hit the wrong button there. What else do you got to put in there? Because we're not there. So we got to adjust that trade. We would have to get something back there. We'd have to take on Dario Saric's contract with SGA. Man, done. Bring him in. Get it done. No questions asked. It's done, in my opinion. Like, what's the level? She is I can't say his name. Is it Shia or Shia? Whatever. It's just SGA. Bring him in. I just don't think that gets it. I mean, they're not going to trade him unless they need to move on from him. I mean, they still got Dort under a long-term deal. They got Chet Holmgren. They got Giddey still there for a few more years. They got all these young draft picks. I don't see why they would want to move on from SGA, but man, I would do it in a snap of a finger. And I think most of Philadelphia, and that's the thing. Like, everyone says Tyrese Maxey's untouchable. Okay, well, why? Are you telling me that you would rather Tyrese Maxey over SGA? Well, tell me why. You know, there has got to be a deal that would convince you to trade these guys. And I'm saying that there is. I don't have the answers to the question what those deals are. SGA is definitely one of them. But I mean, yeah, Marshall, we've been over this all show long. Like, I still can't wrap it around my head that that's all Bradley Beal went for. Like, I can't. Like, it's got my mind in a mix. Like, it's a pickle right now. It's like, it's a pretzel, my mind. It's all wrapped around each other. Like, I just can't get it. But it also tells me that there's going to be a lot of wheeling and dealing happening in this NBA offseason. And the draft is Thursday, and it's kind of crazy because, when the NFL draft happened, like, all week long, all we did was talk NFL draft. And, it was some of the best viewed shows we've had since we've joined the Philadelphia Sports Network. I had a 450 viewed show, a couple in the almost 300s. I mean, it was like 1,500 views over like 4 days for me on this show, which was most I've ever had, which is great. But the NBA drafts this week, and I could care less because the Sixers have no draft picks. Like, I know Wemby's going 1 overall. I couldn't even name the next 2 or 3 guys that are going. I was trying to watch something on the NBA draft last night. It's like, I don't know who any of these guys are. And does it matter? Because we ain't getting any of them. I know there's rumors that the Sixers are trying to make some trades, maybe to get a second-round pick or something, and Nick Nurse and his team have done well with those. And honestly, the Sixers haven't done poorly with them either. But there's going to be a lot of wheeling and dealing going on. And that's what I'm focused on. I don't even have an NBA draft expert planned for this show this week. Like, I don't. I could go out and get Mr. Crockpot Deebs. I could go out, get Sean Bernard to come on this show, or Zach Chavalella. Like, I just don't see what the point is of the NBA. Like, I might have the draft on for 5 or 10 minutes this week, but I'm not watching the NBA draft. Like, Friday after the NBA draft, it's still going to be an all-football Friday show. Because unless something crazy happens and the Sixers make a big, bold move, like, I don't see any room to worry about the NBA draft. But I do think there's going to be so much movement this week and next week and the following week. Because if Bradley Beal goes for a bucket of balls, there's going to be a lot of teams trying to get off of bad contracts. And the teams trying to get off of bad contracts, the teams that don't mind taking on those bad contracts, are going to be able to land those contracts for a lot less than we realize. I mean, just think about it this way. We've been going over all these Tobias Harris scenarios, right? And we all agree Tobias Harris's contract is a killer. But Bradley Beal's contract is 10 times more a killer. And Bradley Beal got traded for next to nothing. Tobias Harris is a lesser player than Bradley Beal on paper. His contract is lesser of an albatross of Bradley Beal's on paper. So if what Bradley Beal got traded for, you got to tell me, Tobias Harris could fetch you something decent. You could get Buddy Hield. Like, there was a rumor floating around that Buddy Hield and their first-round pick for Tobias Harris. If what Chris Paul just got traded for, or Bradley Beal got traded for, there's got to be a scenario where that Buddy Hield and a first-round pick for Tobias Harris isn't as insane as it sounds. the NBA draft without any picks is just not worth watching. No, it's not. Like it's not at all. Like I'll have something else on. I'll have the Phillies game on if they're still playing, and I'll have my Twitter feed up watching just in case. I don't. We'll talk blank their feelings. We are Sixers fans. We are Sixers fans. I'm trying to read some of these other comments. Pockets getting again with that comment. I didn't go over it the first time. Yeah, the draft days were the most exciting early on. They really were because we had so many of them. I mean, I bet you OKC fans are pumped for the NBA draft. June 22nd. Yeah, so that's Thursday. Yeah. We should be able to make up any trade scenario with the imaginary trade override button. Yeah. Well, this isn't Madden. This isn't NBA 2K. This is real life. But I'm just thinking, if Bradley Beal went for what he went, tell me how Tobias Harris can't go for more. Tobias Harris provides value to a team for 1 year, an expiring contract. Hell, if we trade him on draft night or before draft night, the team that trades for him at the next trade deadline could trade him and recoup those assets. Like, I still like Michael Jordan, man. Good for him, man. Selling his, I think would he buy his percentage of the Hornets for like $260 million, and it wasn't like he held on to it for 50 years. It's just been a cup of coffee, and he sold it for $3 billion. I mean, I don't know if he sold all his shares. He sold his controlling interest in the team. That is for sure. At $3 billion, man. Like the rich get richer, man. It's so easy. Michael Jordan is a bad gambler, from what I heard. He does like to gamble. I mean, all the big names that have they're all gambling. They're all spending money. I mean, what I've heard that some of the guys like Phil Mickelson and Brooks Koepka do on the golf course, gambling wise, man. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like a lot, and not even for the Hornets, just for Jordan's ownership stake. I think Jordan owned like 30% of the team, which was the majority of the team, but the highest percentage of the team anybody owns. But man, you're telling me that the Hornets are worth like, so what would that be? $3 billion times 3.9. So you're telling me the Hornets are worth like $10 billion? God damn. Man, I should have bought a sports franchise a long time ago. I should have been rich. I should have been smart. I should have been an athlete. I should have been a lot of things. I should have been the $1 million man. But I'm none of those. What's this? He's stuck in a short position with I have no idea about any of that. Like, I saw the news. I saw the information. I read the blotter on it, like the basic information, and I moved on. What Michael Jordan does, what the Charlotte Hornets do, means nothing to me. So, like, I know it happened, but I'm not getting into the details about it because, quite frankly, I don't care. I care more about trading Tyrese Maxey and getting an NBA championship. I care more about trading Andrew Painter and winning a World Series. That's what matters to me, not the Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets are never winning an NBA title. They're just never going to do it. There's no chance. Would you trade Tyrese Maxey for Ball? I know Mad Chatter brings up Ball all the time in the comments. Young, impressionable guard, can score. Would you trade him for Lamaro? What's his name? But I don't even know which Ball it is, but it's the best of the three. Would you trade him? Maxey for him? I'm bringing up Charlotte's thing right now. LaMelo is still on his rookie deal, so you'd have to give him a big-time contract. But you can work out a trade for LaMelo for Maxey. You could do that. Like, dude, $1 million is nothing anymore. It's not. So no, I want more than $1 million. LaMelo is always hurt. Yeah, he's been injured a little bit. So is Lonzo. I mean, I feel bad for Lonzo too. There in Chicago, trying to rehab his career. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Would you do it? I'm just thinking money wise. Let me put the Sixers up here on the screen with it. I'm just going off the money aspect of it. LaMelo for Maxey straight up is not going to work, but you'd have to add in a Furkan or something like that. But how about a Gordon Hayward and a LaMelo Ball for Harris and Maxey? Like, I don't know if that even does anything for me. Like, I really don't. So maybe no on that. I'm just throwing out scenarios. I'm throwing out maybes, what ifs. What guys you would trade Tyrese Maxey for. That wouldn't sound insane. We already know Eric's 100% on board on Jaylen Brown. Messed up knees because of those big baller bread shoes. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, I don't have any problem with how his dad handled things because his dad was trying to make money. Everybody's trying to make money. Not everyone's got $3 billion investment in the Charlotte Hornets to cash in on. But yeah, if those shoes really are what messed him up, man, I feel bad for him. I really do. We're really getting lowbrow with the comments today. I say your opinions matter on this show, but man, we'll put it up again. Unless it's totally offensive, everything goes on the screen. But man, lowbrow right there. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, and that's the problem with Zion Williamson. I mean, Zion Williamson's knees, there was no way they were going to hold up long term. Just like bringing back Andrew Painter and the Phillies back into the conversation. His arm. Why wouldn't you want to risk trading his arm that's already falling off for a star player that's going to get you to the World Series this year? Do you remember how much fun Philadelphia was in Red October? Like, we need that. Yeah, we need it. And I'm willing to make those moves. You just never know. You don't know what's going to come up on these players, these athletes. What kind of degenerate issue they have. What kind of injuries are going to pop up. I want proven commodities now. You worry about next year. You worry about down the line. The Phillies minor league system has been a dreck for so long. You know what? We've recovered from it. And we got to the World Series. The Eagles blew it up after 2020. 2022, back in the damn Super Bowl. Just because you trade away or you go all in, whatever, doesn't mean you have to go through a 10-year process type rebuild. It doesn't. Just look at the Rams and what the Rams have been able to do twice. Like, it is possible to rebuild quickly in sports. As long as you're willing to spend the money. As long as you're willing to evaluate talent the right way. Anybody is on the table for any trade possible. As long as we're getting value in return. That's all that I care about. Getting value in return. Proper value. Who cares who's the Final Four in the USFL? No. I'm not watching it. No. No way. Especially now the Phillies not in it. No. It's not real football. It's secondary football. I wouldn't trade Tyrese Maxey for anybody on the USFL Stars, Philadelphia Stars. There's got to be a level that you would reach. And again, Jaylen Brown, maybe Eric, Lonzo Ball, LaMelo Ball, maybe. Kawhi Leonard, for sure I'm trading Tyrese Maxey for Kawhi Leonard. There ain't a shadow of a doubt that I would do that deal. Still. Would I trade Tyrese Maxey for Dame Lillard is one that's really interesting to me. I mean, Dame Lillard and James Harden in the backcourt together, I don't think they fit. So that would have to be that you're getting off of James Harden too. And then you would need to do a sign and trade to bring something else in for James Harden. You do a sign and trade, James Harden for Jaylen Brown. Somebody suggested that. And then trade Maxey for Dame Lillard. And then you go Dame Lillard, Jaylen Brown, and Joel Embiid. Does that win you an NBA title? Sure as hell get you pretty damn close, in my opinion. Damn, hold on a second. So we're doing a sign and trade of James Harden to get us Dame Lillard somehow. I don't know how. No, sign and trade James Harden to Boston to get us Jaylen Brown. And then we're finding a way to get Maxey, I guess Harris to Portland for Dame Lillard. We're going to have a Dame Lillard with D'Anthony Melton in the backcourt, Jaylen Brown, PJ Tucker, Joel Embiid, with Springer coming off the bench, McDaniels coming off the bench. Wow. How is Eagles camp going? They're done. They're not going to be practicing again until mid-late July when camp opens. USFL and XFL need to merge. Also, the USFL didn't help their cause by having the teams play in satellite cities this year. Yeah, I mean, that is part of it. The fans, like football, you need the fans kind of to get into it. Maybe I would go to a Stars game if they were here in Philly because they'd probably be cheap. So, that definitely hurts the USFL for sure. I watched Freddie. Mad Chatter always is talking about the Stars in the comments section, the USFL in the comments here of the show. And look, I tried like 7 weeks ago. I tried to watch one of the Stars games. I watched like 5 minutes of it, and it was just 5 minutes of bad football. So I had to turn it off, and now I just tell him how bad football team is. Um, but it is still football. And but at this point in the year, I'm watching baseball. I'm watching the Sixers. I'm watching those kind of things. Yeah, it was to save money, and I guess when they started the league up, COVID was still a thing, and they were trying to eliminate travel. Um, and yes, it's getting bigger every year, and there will be a point at some point if they don't fold or collapse that eventually they start playing in their home cities for sure. But to me, it's still second rate football, honestly, at this point. And I have no desire to watch it on a regular basis. But anyway, back to the topic. Painter, Maxey, what are you trading them for? I mean, somebody messaged in the comments of this poll, saying that they would do, Painter for somebody from Houston. I forget who it was. Let me see if I could find it. There was somebody, one of the pitchers from them, you know, Javier for Painter. Sure, so if you're going to get it, but I'm willing to make these deals because I want the championship. And anybody that says they don't care about the championship, they're looking at the future down the line. I know I got comments from Mr. Crockpot on Twitter saying that he doesn't care about, he would not move these guys because he cares more about development of players. I think it's a baseless claim. Like, everybody wants their team to win a championship. I'm giving you a chance to win a title this year. You just have to sacrifice your best young player. When do the best young players, how often do the best young players on a team actually live up to the hype? 1 out of every 10, 1 out of every 20, 1 out of every 50. Like, the odds of it, that's why there's so many young players that don't make it. When you go and look at NBA drafts like 10 years ago, how many of the guys that were drafted late in the first or in the second round don't become the stars that people think they're going to be? We always get hyped over these second round picks. And what's the point? Lillard, Embiid, and Brown. Now you're talking. Look, I'm giving you. Does that trio not put them at the front of the Eastern Conference hierarchy? And all you're giving up is Harris, Maxey, and maybe Korkmaz. I don't know how the salary. I didn't do it. I'm going to do the salaries in a little bit here, and I'm going to make this happen. But tell me, does that not put you at the front of the Eastern Conference? You still keep Springer, who people are high on. I know he had a highlight video of him shooting 100 threes, and he made a whole bunch of them, whatever, from practice. I hate the summer workout hype videos. Ben Simmons ruined them for me. But are you telling me that this is not an amazing team? You're telling me you wouldn't trade Mick Abel for Paul Goldschmidt, and then Andrew Painter for Ohtani, and then you have Ohtani as your ace, Wheeler as your 2, Rangers your 3, Walker's your 4, Nola becomes your 5. And then you have Ohtani and Goldschmidt in your lineup every day, along with what you got. Oh my God. Like, just think about that for a second. It would be an insane lineup every single day. You'd be the favorite to make it back to the World Series. You might be able to, shrink that 8-game lead that the Braves have really fast. Like, I'm all for doing whatever is necessary to win that damn title. That's what I want. That's what a fan should want. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up there today. We'll continue this conversation tomorrow. Springer going to make more threes than Ben Simmons. I put a paycheck on that. I mean, he might already have made more threes. I don't know. I'd have to do the research. He played some mop-up duty, and he played those last 2 regular season games. He may have more threes than Ben Simmons in his career already. I wouldn't actually be surprised. I will look that up. Hold on. I'm going to look that up. Springer, Simmons, threes. I'll look that up after the show, and I'll put that on there. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been a great show, great extended episode, making up for the missed day yesterday. I'm sure we'll talk Phillies tomorrow. I know that'll make the man chatter really happy. Game 1 against the Braves tonight. Spencer Strider back in Philly, where Rhys Hoskins took him deep in the playoffs last year. I don't know what my expectations are for this Phillies team, but how tonight goes will be kind of the basis for continuing this Andrew Painter trade conversation, McAbel trade conversation, because it's very important. Feel the business would far better if your home crowds could get invested in the product. Yeah, I agree. Anyway, we'll wrap it up right there. Again, make sure you're liking this video, even if you're watching on replay. Likes matter. Pound that like button, smash that like button, Hulk smash that like button. That's the more likes, the more impressions you get. Maybe I'll do a Ric Flair impersonation at some point. Take us home with another $1 Million Man laugh. I don't know. There's only 8 likes on this video, man. You want $1 Million laughs? You got to. The likes have got to be at 10, 15, 20 likes at a minimum. You know, I don't work for free. You know, I mean, I do work for free, but yeah, you want a woo? No, you're not getting a woo yet. There's only 8 likes on this video. No, done. You can't. You guys got to earn those impersonations. You got to earn them. Absolutely no mojo. I don't get hyped. I stay hyped. Anyway, we're wrapping it up right there. We got to wrap this shebang up here, guys. All right. Everybody's got a price. There we go. We're wrapping it up right there. Trending in the AM on Philadelphia Sports Network. We'll be back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. with Phillies recap of tonight's game against the Braves. Whatever else comes up, we'll see how many more comments I get on this poll on Twitter at Beard and Knowledge. It's right there on the top of my page. Check it out. Vote. Share it out. Tell everybody to check this show out. Share this show out to the world. Yeah. You guys, I love you guys. You guys are great every single morning here for me. Everybody have a great Tuesday. Be back tomorrow. Go Phillies. Go Sixers. Trade them all because I want titles. That's what we're saying right here. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.